Good morning, Pumas. This is Mr. Carpentier, and I'm here to present your daily examen for Monday, May 18th. I ask that you calm your hearts and your minds, and you prepare for prayer, and allow God to enter both your heart and your head. So I was thinking about the subject I really wanted to discuss today, and the thing that I kept coming back to, and really this is not a surprise considering the last 10 weeks, is about how we as humans get caught up in the idea of control. Understanding that we really aren't in control is a difficult concept to understand and to grasp simply because we feel like we have so much control over our own lives. Now, we do have control over the way we act and the way we respond to certain things, but there are many things in our lives that we're completely out of our control. Really, it's at those times, and really every time, that we need to give ourselves up to God and the idea that God is really in control. God has a plan, but that's really tough. I know I struggle with that almost every day. So the first thing I'm going to ask you as you calm yourself and you think deeply is, where are those times, or what are those times over the course of the last several days or even weeks where you've really thought you were in control of things only to see them sort of just get out of hand? Maybe it's something as simple as what I've just talked about with regard to the COVID-19 virus and how that's changed all of our lives and really turned things completely out of our control. Maybe it's something simpler, maybe it's something even more personal and more important. But think about those for a moment. Think about ways that God is trying to communicate to you to let you know that we're to have faith and trust that God is going to carry out the plan that He has for us. In my own life, I had something simple over the course of the last week. Now, my family is very blessed. We have 2 cars. My car to get me to and from work and the responsibilities that I have with both work and my family and my children, and my wife with the same thing. My wife's car, after having it for 9 years and 200,000 miles, finally broke down last week, and we decided we were going to get a new car. Obviously, the idea of getting a new car is a blessing in and of itself. But we really tried to think about the best option for us, as if we were in total control of the money we paid, the color of the car, the style of the car. And as we went through it, we began to realize that the more control we tried to exert over the situation, the more confused we got, the less sure of ourselves we became. When we finally calmed ourselves and understood that the feeling would just come to us, the more at peace we were. And that coming to us was really the idea of praying to God to give us guidance into doing what was the best for us. Again, that's a simple example. I ask that you think about examples in your life and take a moment and think about how you responded at the time and maybe how God was trying to speak to you. As we go through the remainder of our prayer, I'm going to ask several questions that I'm sure you're used to over the course of the time that you've been at Cristo Rey. What joy have you felt today or over the last several days? I always have joy knowing that I've been able to eat meals with my children on a regular basis, and that's something I wasn't able to do before we closed out. What joy have you felt? Now, before I ask my next question, I think you saw in the background my dog Snoopy. He gives me great joy and peace when I'm able to walk him, play with him in the yard. He's been a great addition to our family and definitely a blessing. What has troubled you today? If that is not an appropriate question to ask, maybe ask yourself, what's troubled you recently? I know I've been troubled by the turning over of our lives because of the virus pandemic. I miss you as students very much. I miss the day-to-day interactions, the day-to-day seeing you at school. What do you think is going to challenge you today? Or what has challenged you recently? I know today, for instance, again, a simple example, and really unimportant in the whole scheme of things, but still a challenge. I have many online meetings today, and I'm still going through how I'm going to get them all accomplished. Finally, through all of this, where have you noticed God's presence? When you sit back and think deeply, have you noticed that God has tried to calm you? In closing, I'm going to say a simple prayer. I ask that God protect each and every one of you, your families, and your friends, keep you safe, secure, and well. I ask that God help you to see quickly and firmly how He is involved in our lives and how He has a great plan. I ask that God rest your troubles. I ask that God help you meet your challenges. And I ask that God help you to recognize the joy in your lives. Have a great day, Pumas. Have a great week, Pumas. And I can't wait to see you again.